All right, hello everyone. Welcome Cornellians to Real Talk with Ryan. Really excited to be with you today and have a very special guest. Buma Gana has joined us today, and you'll meet her here momentarily, but we'll hear a number of things she's involved with. Today, we're going to focus a good bit on learning more about the first year experience, and in particular, a great resource we have for first year students called the TAPCON Center. Buma is a student leader in that space, among a number of other things, as you'll soon hear. But we're really pleased to be able to have this episode and help you learn a little bit more about this great resource on campus. But first, you need to meet Buma because she, like I said, is involved in so much on campus and is a tremendous Cornellian who's doing a lot to support her fellow students. So Buma, welcome. Why don't you just share with our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Buma and I'm a senior in Cal studying information science. And on campus, I'm a Cornell cheerleader. I'm the president of Pan-Hellenic, so I'm very involved in Greek life. And I'm obviously a manager at the Tatkon Center, the one-stop shop for all first-year students. And I'm involved in the wardrobe. And we provide free pre-professional clothing for students on campus. So those are a lot of my passions and the things I'm involved in on campus.
I mentioned Buma is doing an awful lot, so you heard a bit about that. She's a senior too, so we're not ready to let her graduate yet. She's got to go a little bit longer this whole year. All joking aside, I know sometimes seniors look at their time as almost being over, and I always say you still have 25% of your college experience left. So it sounds like, Buma, you're making the most of it this year.
Definitely.
We were just talking too. She mentioned she's on the cheer team, and we're very excited. The first home football game is this weekend during homecoming against VMI. So I know we'll both be out there watching it. I hope other Cornellians will come out too. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Kickoff is at 2 p.m.
Aha, see that? Make sure, hopefully it'll be a beautiful day too out in Sholkoff.
Yes.
So Buma, so we want to talk about the TAPCON Center. This is a great resource for first year students. It's up on North Campus. You're a student manager there. So why don't you start, if you would just tell us a little bit more about the TAPCON Center?
We're a resource center for those first year students and a help desk to help them improve like in academic ways, social ways, just well-being. We have a lot of programming that falls under all of those pillars, and we're staffed by students across all 7 colleges. And basically we're all upperclassmen, and we're here to like generally just advise students and help them with their day-to-day things, whether that's printing or helping them edit their resumes or things like that, giving them advice on how to talk to their RA about something that's bothering them. Like we're just an overall just resource center, and I've been on the Tatkon Centers, I think, since I was a sophomore. So it's just been amazing to see first years come and go and how like Cornell changes, and the culture of that has just been amazing.
Thank you for that overview. And you mentioned being a student manager, so and with a team of other managers. So how is the center run and led? Is it all students? And what's the role that you play in that capacity as a manager?
While the center is active, it's entirely student run. So we open and we close like on our own like volitions. We do a lot of cross-functional work with other organizations on campus. We do a lot with the Learning Strategy Center, the Career Services Center, and we pair with them and all of these different orgs to create programming that helps first year students academic wise. Maybe that's tutoring, maybe that's a resume drop, maybe that's a LinkedIn workshop, something like that. Or even if it's like speed friending, we sort of set up the programs. I think what's amazing about how student run the Tatkon Center is that like a lot of the center's programs is centered around things we experience as students and things that we've gone through. And so now we're using our sort of experiences to create a new one and help these first years like handle these challenges that we've all been through before. And we all just want to give back in that respect.
You know, I really appreciate what you just said about we've all been there before. And I think especially for new students who come to campus, and so you said this is for all new students who are first time on campus, there can often be this feeling that you're the only one going through a particular issue. You're the only one struggling to navigate your classes or your friendships or communities on campus. And that message that you said is one I try to resonate or relay all the time, which is you're not alone and others are going through it. So I really love this idea of student managers, student leadership who have been in that position themselves. I assume, so that's all part of the intent here, right?
Yes, 100%. And I think that sentiment holds true to like our values as a center. Our motto is ask us anything.
Okay.
Because like with such a like diverse array of like different students, like a lot of the times we all have these different perspectives that help translate into, oh, I've been there before in this respect, or like
Mhm.
I've done this, or I went through that program and I want to help you do this. So
Mhm.
it's very like just comes together as a whole beautifully.
You mentioned you've been involved with the TAPCON Center for a while. So what was your story or your journey to getting involved more deeply?
Yeah, so actually freshman year I came to the Tatkon Center a lot just because I needed to print in the mornings and like
Where did you live your
I,
first
I
year?
I lived in Donlin, and a
Okay.
lot of people in Donlin would go to the RPCC printer, but I would go to Balch because I was like, no one's going to be there. And so when I went to the TACON Center, I would learn more about like their programming, and I would speak to the people at the desk. And then eventually I started like inviting my friends to like things they would have there. Like I just really found a lot of like fun and beauty and like just the programming itself and how like kind and friendly the people who were working there like were. And I was just like, wow, I want to do this. I want to create this experience for people next year. So and I've been doing it ever since, and I love it.
And so you mentioned here, and so I was going to ask this at some point, but I want to clarify it now. So the
Mhm.
TACCON Center historically has been located in Balch Hall.
Yes.
This year it's not, because among other things, Balch was going to be renovated this year. It's temporarily being used as quarantine and isolation space. So where is the TACCON Center now?
The Tatkon Center is now in Robert Purcell. It's an RPCC and it's on the first floor. We occupy 3 rooms. We occupy room 101, 103, and 105. Our main desk area is in 101. So that first door as you come into RPCC, that's the TACCON Center.
And so this is as you're coming in from Donlin, Bare Necessities on your right, TACCON Center on your left, right?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah. So the TACCON Center will be in RPCC until Balch renovation is completed. So it'll be there for a couple of years. And then it'll, just for everyone who's listening, then it'll move back into Balch after that. It's a great space over there as well. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges you've seen that first year students face as they acclimate to Cornell? Are there consistent themes that you've seen? And if so, kind of what are they and how have you seen the center try to support students in that regard?
I see the biggest things in just general imposter syndrome
Mhm.
as it pertains to academics or social life. I see a lot of students come in and one way or another, their demeanor will show like they feel like they don't really belong at Cornell. And I have like a whole spiel on that. And that manifests itself through like social interactions and like going to class and being insecure that maybe you're not good enough to take this class and things like that. So I think that's definitely a recurring theme when it comes to first years, which is completely understandable. And I think over the past 3 years that I've worked here, I've really learned to sort of pinpoint like those areas and being like, how can I help you? How can I uplift you to believe in yourself and believe that like you deserve to be here. You got into Cornell, you're here, like you deserve to be on this campus. What resources can I give to you to empower you? So a lot of my time, just when I'm not explicitly like talking to parents or first years, like I'm sort of researching ways to sort of help students like align themselves in that capacity.
Thank you, first of all, for doing that. I think it's such an important message. I have a lot of feelings about this notion of imposter syndrome and what our first year students, and frankly, I don't just think first year students, right? All students
Yeah.
feel through their time here. And one of the things I want to say, this is real talk, so I'm going to get real here. This is also not just something that impacts first students, frankly. I've said before in groups that I've been talking with, student groups, that I struggle with imposter syndrome at times. In my role as a vice president at an Ivy League university, I have those same challenges. And so I think it's really important that you're reassuring to students that they belong here. I try to do this a lot, but we all need that at different points in our lives and at different points in our time at Cornell. We need people lifting us up and supporting us and being positive and kind and all those things. And so I just want to thank you for that, because I think that in general, we just need more of that here and everywhere, more of that support and uplifting.
Like I said, we've all been there. I go through my fair share of imposter syndrome. So it's definitely something core in our values. I really like our Wellness Wednesdays programs.
Okay.
They tend to focus on like personal wellness, and it can really, I really like how flexible our Wellness Wednesdays programs are. Sometimes it's like writing a letter, postcard, or like doing some sort of art that just allows people to sort of de-stress, take a break, and just like get into their creative element, or just get into mindfulness and really like be thoughtful about their experience. So I like a lot of our Wellness Wednesdays programs.
Is this every Wednesday then? Is there a certain time that this program happens?
Yes, this is every Wednesday. It typically changes just because it's run by a different staff member every week. I think my Wellness Wednesdays is next week, 5:30 to 6:30, and I'm going to be talking about astrology and how to really break the basics of the zodiac signs and how to use that in mindfulness. So
is this a passion area for you, or give me, you mentioned that you're in Cal studying information science. make the connection for me here, Buma.
Yeah, this is a little passion area for me. I like to read up on it occasionally and sort of see like, I think it's really interesting because astrology used to be studied with astronomy, but all of that work is kind of left over. So I like to read about the history of it as well.
What has it been like from your experience? Now, I know we're just a few weeks into the semester, but I assume you've been working at TAPCON, you've been over there, you've spent time with students. Do you have any assessment on how students are doing right now? We had a full pandemic year last year, these, new students coming out of high school, or if they transferred here, it feels very different to me. So do you have any observations that you've experienced so far this year about how our students are doing?
It's like a new type of enthusiasm this year where I've just been seeing students come in and they're like, tell me more about the Tatkon Center. Like, where can I do this on campus? Where can I do this on campus? And everybody is so excited to be back on campus. And I just want to echo how like amazing it is to see that in real time, because I feel like in the hustle of bustle of like being at Cornell and being a student and going that, like, I think I am in a privileged position where I get to see like those students come in and talk to them about their experience. And it really is like different from other years.
This is also something I've been hearing and seeing, experiencing myself in my own interaction with students, but all of my colleagues in student and campus life have been saying the same things, or other student leaders that I've spoken to, just that the level of energy and enthusiasm and excitement about being in person. We have all of our clubs, our activities, homecoming activities this weekend. We had Club Fest last weekend. All these things are going again in person that weren't last year, and how exciting that is. And that the new class especially, but also sophomores who may have been here last year under different circumstances, are just super excited for it. So I wish more people could feel and see that from a distance who don't get to experience it, like you said, but it feels really magical right now. I've been thinking a lot too about how we kind of keep that going, right? I mean, this, it can be stressful to be a Cornell student, and that's understandable. And as the semester drags on, sometimes that weight begins to really feel intense for folks. And I hope that we can really keep this kind of enthusiasm, excitement, and positivity flowing too, just for everybody's general well-being and state of things. So we'll see. I hope that the TATCON Center can play a role in making that happen. I want to divert a little bit, and thank you for all the info about the TATCON Center, but you mentioned in your introduction that you're also president of the Panhellenic Council. And so if you have another minute or two, I'd love to just ask you a little bit more about that and what's going on right now.
The Panhellenic Council is within, of course, Student Campus Life, within Greek organizations, and we cover all the sororities on campus, the 12 sororities. And I sit as the president and sort of manage the entire system. It has its moments for sure. No, I think in my time as president, I've been able to sort of make it my own and sort of instill my own values within like my council, and like sort of extend that to the presidents and what they value and what they're doing. And a lot of the stuff we've been working on is like how to increase equity, like especially with first years wanting to go through the recruitment process. Further than that, we are working on events for National Hazing Prevention Week. And we've been working on little things here and there, trying to get the community engaged, like tabling on Willard Straight as it pertains to like National Hazing Prevention Week. I know a few of our younger members are working on a capstone project within Junior Panhellenic to sort of speak more to that, and how we acknowledge our own accountability in a system, and how we acknowledge our own history, and how we sort of move past that, acknowledge the history, and like strive towards a more inclusive environment.
You have an amazing array of priorities and tasks. I will say on 2 points I want to mention. I mean, your focus, of course, National Hazing Prevention Week coming up, and the efforts that you and Panhellenic and hopefully the other councils are doing to support that. And then your focus, which I know you're passionate about, which is really, again, you explain this, advancing and promoting equity within the Panhellenic Council, within all the chapters, and making sure that Greek life is accessible to all of our students here at Cornell, and taking some of those concrete steps like that you outlined here to make sure that that's the case. Just want to thank you and your leadership team for your efforts there. That's much needed and much appreciated. Any advice you would offer to Cornellians as we roll into the 2021-2022 year here, Buma?
1, you deserve to be here, and 2, cultivate what is yours. Cornell is yours. There's so many untapped resources for students on this campus. Utilize them, explore things that like you've never explored before. Give yourself the opportunity to make the most out of being on this campus, because you deserve to be here. And you should honor that by like going after like what you really want to learn, what you want to be, what you want to do. And yeah, that's really all I have.
That's amazing advice, Buma. So I hope everyone who's tuned into this episode is taking her words to heart. They're great pieces of advice. And I think if all of our students took that same approach, this place would be even more amazing than it already is. So thank you for your time today, Buma. It's been a real treat to be here with you. Thank you for all you're doing to support student life on campus. To everyone who's been watching, thank you for tuning in again to Real Talk with Ryan. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.